Shalom, called Aloyim Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai by Hashem Rachak Kudash, and Shun Yakabad, Agadawala Requab, Zaquanyam Nawa, Wa Shalayakim Nawa. That's the belongings to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone, Shalawam, Wa Barakim, Labakaryam, Shalayasharala. And that's peace and blessings to the elect of Israel. I wanted to really quickly make this video concerning the prophecy of the MOB. And this article is entitled, Woman Pays for Groceries at Whole Foods Using a CHIP Implanted in Her Hand, Sparking Debate. And so there's so much evidence now. There's no reason why any Israelite or any Israelite camp, I'll say, should be out here telling you that the MOB is anything else other than the CHIP or the micro CHIP. There's so much evidence. And all these Israelite camps are not getting into the aspect of buying and selling, because you can't buy and sell with sin or the image or an embargo on Christianity. All these things that these Israelite camps are saying the MOB is, literally at the surface level, don't make any logical sense. So there's so much evidence now, and here we see that right at Whole Foods. And if you can do this at this Whole Foods, I'm sure you can do it at any Whole Foods. It's the same processing system. This lady, as we're going to see, has a CHIP in her hand, and she's using it to buy for her groceries, pay for her groceries. So we're not going to read the article. This is a straightforward video. We're just going to see this short clip.
I'm at Whole Foods and I'm about to pay for my groceries with my... It'll work. That's the coolest thing ever.
So you heard it beep, just as if you were paying using your, what is it called? Apple Pay or Samsung right from your phone, or if you would just tap in your credit card. And so I looked into it, and there's another article as well. Same exact thing. Apparently this lady, she's on TikTok, and she's known as the CHIP girl. You can probably type that in. Let me see. This is her handle right here. Boom. This is her, if I can highlight it properly. Okay. It's not really, there we go. At CHIP girl. So maybe she's getting paid to do it. I don't know. Maybe she's just doing it because it brings attention so she can pay her bills. Who knows? At the end of the day, there's so much proof, once again, and evidence out there that the MOB is the micro CHIP. And this is something that our apostles and elders have been pushing for a very, very long time. Prior to YouTube even being around, they were teaching this doctrine out there on the highways and byways, or this prophecy out there on the highways and byways. So without further ado, we're going to jump right into the book of Revelation, chapter 13. And verse 16, it says, And he calls it all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond. So everyone, everybody, because that's Esau, Edom's goal. Remember, the buying and selling aspect is just important, because if you can control the way that money circulates, then you can control people, because you have to spend money in order to eat. So if you have to eat, we control how you get that food. That means we control you. That's Esau, Edom's true overall purpose, just to have control over the Most High's creation. So his idea is, let me put a micro CHIP inside of everybody that has all their information, your identification, what kind of car you drive, your medical information, all these things. And of course, your money will be in there as well. Everything about you. He'll be able to track you, know what you like to buy, when you buy it, how often you spend money, where you go, where you travel. That's his purpose. So it says he calls it all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. Now, I brought this out before, but remember, when it talks about your right hand, actually Apostle Tahar brought this out, it's not going into specifically your right hand only, because you have certain areas where their dominant hand is their left hand, and that's where they're going to receive the CHIP. But when you look up that word right hand, G1188, you click on that number. The Greek word is dexios, and of course it only says the right hand. But when you go down to the Thayer's Greek lexicon, it gets more specific, and it says, of that hand which is accustomed to take hold of as well as to point out. So the hand that you're accustomed to pointing to things, or that you're accustomed to taking hold of, meaning to grab things, that's your dominant hand. For a lot of people here in the States, it's their right. For others, it's their left. That's all this is saying. And so now we see a good example of that. And this is the other article, like I mentioned. 2 different articles showing this lady buying something at Whole Foods. Let me see if I can scroll down on this. Nope, it's all good. So boom, here we go. Right, and of course they're going to push it as something that's super cool. It's convenient. It's making my life easier. I don't have to remember to bring my wallet, or remember to bring my card or cash or whatever. And we already know they've been striving to be done away with cash for a long time. So now we're seeing the evolution of how Esau Edom is defining money or defining currency. Now he's getting all the way to the point in which now you have the BRICS nations banding together to try to use a currency outside of the dollar. So now Esau Edom is using this as a great opportunity to bring in his CBDC, central bank digital currency. And more than likely, that's what's going to be inside of the micro CHIP to allow one to buy and sell. Now, I'll just get this. It's always very relevant whenever we're talking about this prophecy. This is the not reward, but reward is a good word. A punishment is more fitting. This is the punishment for taking that CHIP. If you fall to the deception, and if you fall to bowing down to Esau Edom and taking that CHIP, what you're saying is that Esau is your God. You believe in him and you trust in him more than the Most High Yahweh and his only begotten Son Yahweh Shai. Therefore, this is the punishment. Revelation 14 verse 9 says, and the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast and his image and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand. It doesn't distinguish between left and right here, left or right. It's just your hand, either one. Doesn't matter where you get it, because your reasoning for taking it was the same. Verse 10 says, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of God, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation. And he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. Let's read that in the NLT. Verse 14, not 14, I'm tripping. Verse 10 in the NLT. So if you take that charagma, it says must drink the wine of God's anger. It has been poured full strength into God's cup of wrath, and they will be tormented with fire and burning sulfur in the presence of the holy angels and the Lamb. So in this upcoming World War III, what the world commonly refers to as Armageddon, and also you'll hear that phrase lake of fire, people that take this charagma are going to be inside of it. They're going to be burnt up in that lake of fire, in which the lake of fire is just a bird's eye view of Babylon the Great, America being burnt by those nuclear missiles. World War III is prophesied in the Bible, and nuclear missiles are going to be the main weapon. That's how Babylon, aka America, or America, aka Babylon, will be destroyed. For those that take this charagma, they're going to take part in that destruction. That's what we're reading right here. This is proof, man. The Bible is real. These words, they're speaking loud, they're alive, and they're coming to pass. That means everything else will as well. Leading up to this World War III, all the anarchy, all of the, looting and rioting, and the different wars that'll be happening. The famine. What comes with famine? Cannibalism. All these things will take place, and it will be a time like never was, nor shall be. And that's talked about in the book of Matthew 24. So knowing these things, seeing these things play out right before our eyes, it should increase our faith and, of course, our fear as well, and make us to want to stay on point. Matthew 24, verse 21, it says, "For then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be." So the time that's quickly approaching, that we're coming into, is going to be a time worse than we've ever seen in history, or that ever will be. It's going to be the worst time ever. The only way that we're going to be able to have some kind of protection, any protection and safety, and to be able to eat, is by believing and trusting and having full 100% faith in Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. There's no other answer. That's why we bring out articles like this, to show you that the Bible is real. Now is the time to build up your faith, to strengthen your spirit, and you do those things by getting into the Word, reading, studying, praying for truth, and of course praying without ceasing. So just wanted to make this video. I pray that this was edifying to the elect. Call Haloyim Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai Ba'ashem Rachakadash. The belongings to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to the elect. Shalom. 144.